Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. And today, the Seattle Seahawks have signed P.J. Walker, a quarterback who most recently played for the Cleveland Browns and actually got to start a game or two with Cleveland and didn't do too bad. He's also played for the Panthers as well, and has played for a couple other teams in the league, and was the reason why he was able to make it in NFL comeback was because of his time with the Houston Roughnecks in the XFL, where he had a lot of success, which reached him to get a contract with the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go over what he's done in his career. So in 2020, with the Panthers, he started in one game, played in 4 games, and in that one game, won the game with Carolina, threw 32 for 56, throwing 368 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. Now, I don't remember who they were playing, but this is a game where he had a solid game where he throws almost 400 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Throws 32 for 56, which is 57 completion percentage. Carolina wins the game, but also he still throws 5 interceptions. He's an interception machine. Now, that was a good performance, though. Carolina brings him back in 2021. He gets to start a game again. In 2021, he starts one game again and played 5 games, started in 1, and again, he wins again. So he's 1-0. Threw 36 for 66 in 2021. Threw for 316 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 3 interceptions. Now, 2022, he gets more playing time. He starts in 5 games, plays in 6, has a 2-3 record, so he's finally reached some losses. He threw 63 for 106 in those 5 starts, with a 59 completion percentage. Threw for 731 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Hey, the interceptions calmed down for P.J. Walker with more starts in 2022. He threw 3 interceptions in 5 starts. When he was throwing, one start he threw 5 interceptions. The other start he threw 3. So, and that was in 2020, 2021. But 2022 he threw 3 and 5 starts. So interceptions were a lot better in 2022 than they were in the seasons prior. Now, leaves Carolina going into the 2022-3 season, gets to start in 2 games with the Cleveland Browns when, in a course of times where there were a couple injuries for Deshaun Watson until they really found their right guy in Joe Flacco. And in those 2 starts, a lot of passes were thrown. He threw 54 for 111 with a 48 completion percentage, the worst of his career. Threw 674 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and yet again, the interceptions are a problem, throwing 3 of them in 2 starts. So it's not terrible, but yeah, still interceptions have been a big problem in his short career. I've seen a lot of people, I've seen not a lot of people, but I've seen some people say, why make this, why trade for, I've seen both. I've seen people say, why trade for Sam Howell if you're going to sign P.J. Walker, who is a good enough backup for Geno Smith? And I've also seen people say, why sign P.J. Walker if you already traded draft capital, a good draft capital, or I think it was like a 5th-round pick for Sam Howell? Look, I don't mind seeing teams run with 3 quarterbacks. I think it's something since the 49ers with Brock Purdy and, the injuries that, that 49ers team had in 2022. You had Brock Purdy go down. It was a series of events. It started off with Trey Lance hurting his leg really bad in the season. So then you rely on Jimmy Garoppolo, and he hurts his shoulder really bad. So then you have to rely on this 7th-round pick rookie and Brock Purdy, who actually, in this situation, does really well. Leads you to the postseason, gets you to the postseason, takes you all the way to NFC Championship, but he gets hurt in the NFC Championship. So here comes his backup, Josh Johnson. I believe that was his name, and he gets injured. So what do you do now? Now, keep in mind, 3 quarterbacks are not allowed on the game day roster. So, 49ers have no option at quarterback. So what do they have to do? They have to run Wildcat with Christian McCaffrey and put an injured Brock Purdy out there, who shouldn't even be out there, who didn't even make any throws as well, just handing off the ball. So, or I would call him a decoy in that situation as well. So after that happens, the NFL makes the rule about the emergency quarterback. So I think in this situation, I see PJ Walker as the emergency quarterback. Geno Smith had some injuries in 2023. These weren't, there weren't a lot of injuries. These were, there were a couple injuries, but they weren't severe injuries for Geno Smith. But at the same time, I think it'd always be nice to be careful and to have three quarterbacks who can start at the NFL level. PJ Walker has started a game in the last 4 seasons. Geno Smith has been their starter for the last 2 seasons. You look at a guy like Sam Howell, who's been a starter with Washington. So those are 3 guys who can start a football game for you, and I think that's something that's good to have, of course. But do I see PJ Walker doing anything unless something happens to Geno or Sam or I don't see anything happening with PJ Walker, but I think he is a good emergency quarterback to have, that third emergency quarterback to have. But we'll see how it goes that route because, not every team goes with having a third quarterback. So I think it's something a lot of, if not all, teams should be doing after what after what happened with the 49ers. But, it's not a bad, if you look at the depth, it's not a bad quarterback room. I feel like Geno with, he had a great 2022 season. 2023 wasn't great for him. I'd like to see a better year from Geno. Definitely could see that happen. And I feel like Sam Howell, I feel like he showed some really good things with Washington. He showed some really bad things. But I think if you were to put him in the Seattle offense with some of the weapons they have, look, I'm not disrespecting that Washington offense at all, but I think he'd be a lot more successful with Seattle. I think Terry McLaurin he's scary. That's why they call him Scary Terry. He's a great wide receiver, but outside of that, I don't see any threats on that Washington offense as a whole, to be honest. Brian Robinson's a tough running back, but he's not a receiver. Their coaching was terrible. Not only was their coaching terrible, but outside of McLaurin, I didn't see a lot of good weapons for the young quarterback. Sam Howell was only in his second season, and it's only his first full season in the league. Now look at the offense he has now, potentially, if he would to potentially become the Seattle Seahawks quarterback. He has DK Metcalf, he has Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Jigba, and also very underrated tight end Noah Fant. So this is also Kenneth Walker at running back. So, and a good defense behind him. So I don't see Sam Howell becoming a starter to start off the season, but if he ever does become a starter for Seattle at any point in the season, I would see him being a lot more successful than he was with Washington, because I believe he has better weapons and better coaching staff around him. But I think this is a nice quarterback room. I really do. Starting off with Geno and Sam, and then ending off with PJ. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.